From a stock market standpoint, this being the fifth anniversary of the Great Bull Market, which, among other things, is the greatest story never told. Among other things after that, you have been a staunch proponent of that bull market. What did you hear tonight, Don? Did you hear bullish Republicans or not?
Oh, I thought it was just fantastic. I mean, think about it, Larry. You got Fred Thompson using your expression, the greatest story never told. You've got Rudy Giuliani just proudly declaring himself to be a supply-sider. You've got Republicans arguing with each other about who has the best tax-cutting credentials. It isn't a question of whether you're going to cut taxes. It's who's going to do it the best. This was just bullish, bullish, bullish. Now, of course, all they have to do is win, and that's not going to be easy. But it's a great field. They're all going to be good for the economy.
Jared Luskin, you big bull out there. Gosh, I love a bull. I absolutely love a bull. What did you just hear from Governor Mike Huckabee?
Not much. Honestly, he's one of those people I don't know why he bothers to show up. I don't. Yeah, you know, we have a situation where you have to say boldly and proudly that we have a very, very successful economy. It's successful because it's dynamic. It's successful because it's going to be because it's free. We simply have to leave it that way. From the previous section, I object to some of the people on the panel with me who've said that there are no new ideas here and that nobody was specific and there's no beef. We don't need new ideas. We need to preserve the old idea of keeping regulations low, keeping taxes low. That's what we heard over and over from the leading candidates, and that's why I'm so bullish.
You keep talking about the greatest story never told, this bull market, and it's true. But there is not a connection between that bull market and the 45% of Americans who say they couldn't last 1 month in their current lifestyle if they lost their paycheck. They're really right on the edge.
This is with the highest wealth in the history of the nation. This is with a record volume of Americans working. I think it's about 147 million Americans working. Family household net worth right now is just short of $60 trillion. These are astonishing numbers. 70 trillion, I stand corrected.
Okay. And Larry,
I hear this from the media, Scott. Are you the New York Times or are you Scott Rasmussen?
I'm the reporter telling you that only 18% of Americans believe the economy is getting better right now. 59% say it's getting worse. 31% say that we are in a recession right now. And by the way, this is not just the non-investors. Only 26% of investors, of the investor class, say the economy is getting better. So the numbers are there, but there has not been a connection to the way people are experiencing in their lives.
So what should Republican candidates do? Should they lie? Should they say that the answer to this is to cut CEO pay? Give me a break.
No, they got to talk about more than just cutting taxes.
Don, they do need some. I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, trade and low taxes are the keys to prosperity. But, you know, the Republicans can't run on kind of a Bush agenda. It's interesting, by the way, that George Bush's name didn't come up very much in this debate.
What I'm talking about is a national trade deficit. It's not a Michigan trade deficit. Steve Moore made the correct point that exports create jobs. Yeah. But if exports create jobs and imports cost us jobs, then trade...
mean lower prices.
No, there's no way. You think if you buy...
No, wait a second. It's a sign of prosperity. Where's Luskin? Don Luskin, help me on this.
Trade deficit is a drag on GDP. Do your arithmetic.
Of course not, because the trade deficit encourages investment.
Right. Don Luskin, the Keynesians say trade deficit is a drag on GDP, but good-thinking supply-siders say that it's a sign of a boom. Where do you come out on this?
Look, we're the richest nation in the world. We've got all the money. If we weren't spending our money to buy their stuff, these people would have no money to buy our stuff. Right. We are now exporting $1.5 trillion a year. That's big. 13% of GDP. It's an all-time record. You just cannot tell me there is anything wrong with that.
You are whistling
past
a current account deficit that is unsustainable,
Don,
and you really ought to know that.
It's unsustainable.
Two things.
Does everything have to be sustainable? Are we in Starbucks here? Does everything have to be sustainable? That's not the point. The point is we've got a boom going on through an episode of tremendous globalization where we've got trade going on between nations that are lifting billions of peasants out of poverty and now responsible for 13% of our GDP. What more do you want?
This is why they will lose. Widely agreed among economists that an economy that consumes ever more than it produces produces year in and year out eventually has to pay the piper.
We're not consuming more than we produce. We are not consuming more than we produce. Excuse me, time out. Lie. We are not consuming more than we produce. We are not consuming more than we produce. Show me where we are. Exports and imports have nothing to do with consumption and production.
All right, I'm going
our national wealth keeps going up.
All right, we got to stop for just a moment and give me a stock market take. You know the Democrats. You heard Mr. Richardson and Mr. Dodd. What are you thinking, Don?
Well, I can't imagine worse outcomes for the market than to imagine either one of those two bozos ever being president. I mean, that Richardson can't even complete an English language sentence. When he does, it's just this incoherent spouting about the Social Security Trust Fund and it's green and energy.
I disagree with everything that man
He's
just
hopeless.
said.
He's worthless. He's gotten too many blows to the head in his fictional sports career.
Larry, can I make two?
He has.